Morning students, we are continuing our discussion on chapter 10, the Gupta Empire. In our last few classes we have seen the establishment of the Gupta Empire and the growth of the Gupta Empire under the rule of Samudragupta, the Napoleon of India. Then we have seen the rule of Chandragupta II or Vikramaditya. We have discussed about the 9 gems who, who were present in the Gupta court during the time of Chandragupta II or Vikramaditya. About the development of Sanskrit literature we talked about. Now, I already mentioned this in our last few classes that the Gupta Empire was considered as the golden age of India during the ancient time because of their administration, proper form of administration, because of their economic policies, proper growth of economic policies, and because of their secular religious policies. So today we will focus on these three policies and find out that whether it was a golden age or not. First of all, the administrative policies introduced by the Guptas. You need to remember that they had elaborate administrative system. Elaborate means quite systematic, proper, a huge functioning system they had, and everything was connected to the king, and king was the controller of everything. But the areas, those who accepted the sovereignty of the king, or those who accepted the rule of the Gupta king, those rulers were given freedom to rule like themselves. But the other areas which were captured directly under the Gupta rulers, they were ruled according to the Gupta administration. First point, it is that the king remained the central figure of administration and adopted titles such as Chakravartin, Parameswara. The king was assisted by a council of ministers or Amatyas. He was also assisted by the Mahadhakyas or the chief justice on judicial matters. The Gupta kingdom was divided into a number of provinces, or these were called as bhuktis. Provinces or bhuktis were there. For administrative convenience, the governor of the bhuktis or the provinces were called uparikas. The provinces were further divided into vishyas under the Vishapati. Below the vishyas were the districts, and the lowest unit of administration was the village. So the whole empire was divided into provinces or the bhuktis. Provinces were under the control of uparikas, and provinces were divided into vishyas, and the vishyas were the vishapatis, and vishyas were divided into districts, and districts were divided into villages. So again, these divisions, first of all, the empire was under the control of king. The whole empire was divided into provinces. Like modern day in our country, you can imagine our whole country India is divided into states. States are divided into districts. Districts are divided into blocks, and the blocks are divided into villages or the towns. So same division they followed. Like the whole empire was divided into provinces or the bhuktis. Bhuktis were under the uparikas. The uparikas were divided, or the bhuktis were divided into vishyas under the Vishapati, and the vishyas were divided into districts, and districts were divided into villages. Same thing like that, different division, different rulers were there. In modern day also you can find this kind of division. I already told, the whole country is governed by the prime minister. At the top, president is there. Then the whole country is divided into states. The states are governed by governor and the CM, chief minister. Then the states are divided into districts. Districts are controlled by DM. Then districts are divided into blocks. blocks are divided into villages. During the Guptas, the provinces were divided. The whole empire was divided into provinces or the Bhuktis. Bhuktis were under the control of Uparikas. The Bhuktis were divided into Vishyas, and Vishyas were under the control of Vishapati. The Vishyas were divided into the districts, and the districts were divided into villages. And village was controlled by village headman, and there also exists a spy system to get all this information to give to the king. And the Gupta maintained a huge army which consisted of elephant, cavalry, infantry and chariot. Elephant ridden soldiers were there. Cavalry ridden means the horse ridden soldiers were there. Infantry means those who moved on foot, and chariots were also there. Now their economic policy, Gupta rulers, they focused on agriculture. Their main occupation of the common people was agriculture at that time. People were also engaged in trade and commerce. A flourishing trade was carried out with the country of Southeast Asia, Africa and Mediterranean region. That means they had a huge area for trading, and that's why you can understand they had many profit. Mediterranean region means European region, Southeast Asian region means island regions, and Africa you can understand. And their main products for business, it were textile and craft industries. Religious practices, Gupta kings themselves were Vaishnavas or the follower of Vishnu or Hindus. They followed the yajna or the practices or the sacrifice of called Ashwamedha yajna. In Ashwamedha yajnas, the horses after the yajna, they were released, and whatever areas the horse covered, those areas came under the king, which king is celebrating that Ashwamedha yajna. If the horse was stopped by any king, they had to fight against each other, and that was the system. Now the emergence of Bhakti cult. Bhakti means, you can understand, Bhakti means loving devotion or to show love towards God. This type of belief started to develop during the Gupta age. Showing devotion to own God or personal God, that is Bhakti. It started to develop during the Gupta age. It was becoming popular among the masses, and it was simple and inexpensive. That means like to follow your own God in your own way. That's why Bhakti became popular, and Gupta kings also supported these kind of ideas. And the Gupta themselves were the followers of Brahmanism, but they never imposed their religion on the people. They loved all religions, they encouraged all religions, they supported all kind of religious people, including Buddhism, Jainism, and that's why the Gupta rule is considered as the golden age of ancient India.